Well, welcome back. This is a weird one. I don't know, this is badass. Uncle Sam becomes a case study. That's okay. There's a couple of students that are, apparently they're anarchists. And being a political satirical cartoonist or analyst, I guess I get a bit of anarchy in me too. I think it comes, with the territory. So they're going around interviewing people and they picked on me. It's not the first time I've been interviewed for one thing or the other out there. I've been on different programs and shows and whatever, but this is one of the weirder ones. And I just wind up babbling a lot of bullshit. Sometimes when I listen to myself, I wonder if if I even know what the hell I'm talking about. But at any rate, I don't know. I have no idea what to make of this video. But I would like to see the end result of it. I hope they do wind up sending me their the end result of their project, because I'd like to see who else they've interviewed and how they put it all together. And I was really trying to get more into their philosophies on anarchy, which I should have hit on more. It's like they're more interviewing me than I was interviewing them. I always find myself kind of boring. Well, let's just say I don't like talking about myself. I'm more interested in other people than I am myself. I've lived my life. I know what I'm doing. So I don't know. At any rate, if you like this one, great, like it. I'm kind of goofy right now. After going like 5 days straight out there on the streets and then for 3 days for 12 to 14 hours in front of this computer, going back over these conversations and editing them and putting them up. I'm French fried. I feel like someone took an egg beater to my brain. So, and then I'm going to probably be going out there again tomorrow for 3 days straight. So I'll never get to the videos I need to get to. I got still another 10 hours of video I should get to, and at least 3 of those hours are golden. So I'm going to try to put them up. Reward me for my hard work if you can. Beyond viewing them, do of course subscribe and hit the like button and do all that kind of stuff that seems to mean something. But if beyond that, if you can support me, go get yourself a shirt or throw some money in my kitty. Anyway. Let's get to this one. God bless you. It's a spiritual battle we're fighting with material it means, and I need the material. Help. Help me. Alright, see you on the street. School you go to?
We go to Hamilton College.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
I've heard of that one before. Yeah, that's nice. What are you studying?
I study anthropology.
Interesting field in yourself, young lady.
Sociology.
Ooh.
Yep.
So I study it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, street sociology.
I'm here we're studying different topics here because we're in the same class. I'm here to study anarchism in New Orleans.
City anarchism?
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of, I'm a member of the Piss Party, so I might be an anarchist, I think.
If you're against hierarchy, if you just want to, I don't know.
Well, indeed. I think, I actually do identify myself more as an anarchist than anything else. I think that, the less government we have and more self-government we have, I think the better off we are.
I agree.
That's interesting because that you have that because New York is very liberal. I mean, it's they think more in big government terms.
That's true, but I come from an anarchist family.
Oh, really?
Like Greek anarchist family. So they're very much into no hierarchy, doing their own thing.
Very good. Yeah, that's interesting. So were you born in Greece or?
No, but my dad was.
Well, okay, great. Yeah, because I find people that come from other countries, especially where the democracy was the cradle of democracy, have a better perspective on things than the kids that grew up here, basically, or the parents.
I'm originally from Beijing, China.
Oh yes.
So, yeah,
you're not part of the Chi-Coms, are you? You're not here to take us over, are you?
No.
Because they say that's it. The bigger deal we got now is China's our biggest adversary, which would make sense. I mean. It's not like you're a small country.
We're about the same size as you guys.
Yeah. So you live here now? Or?
Yeah, I've been in New York for 8 years. So.
Okay. Are you a citizen or are you?
No, I'm not a citizen.
Okay. So
I'm on visa.
On your visa?
Yeah.
Will you be going back to Beijing?
Like for summer vacations.
So, but are you planning on moving here or what do you think I'm doing?
If I can in the future. Yeah, maybe.
When China takes over. So you're on a study now? This is what you're doing?
Yeah, so, you're
we have different. Would you mind if I...
No, go right ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in creating like a video portraiture of just people in New Orleans. So would you mind if I ask you like what you do for this kind of job, and then how did you find here to set a little spot here?
Why not? I'm filming you right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. We're being spied.
Yeah.
Oh my god, right there too.
Oh yeah. So we can film each other.
Yes, of course.
And maybe I can take like a minute-long facial portraiture of you.
Sure, whatever you would like to do. Sure. Yeah. So, it's not like I'm not out here for publicity, too.
So would you mind just say your name and give us permission to use your video for academic purpose?
Oh, sure.
Give me 1 second.
Do you want to sit or are you standing?
I'm fine right here.
All right. You can stop.
My name is Michael DeBerry, a.k.a. Badass Uncle Sam. And I'm a political satirical cartoonist and commentator in the city of New Orleans. And I give you permission to use whatever you want.
Okay, thank you. So, would you describe like your work here?
Sure. As I mentioned, I'm a political satirical cartoonist who's taken his work to the street to get public commentary and try to get some public discourse, because I find that with the powers that be you're doing, they're trying to keep us at each other's throats and keep us divided. I'd rather come out here and see if we could find some common ground.
Are you familiar with the Common Ground Collective?
I've heard of it.
That's kind of anarchist.
I'm enough of an anarchist where I try to stay away from all groups. Because I find that when you start up a group, no matter how good the intentions are, especially if you're trying to tell the truth, you will be infiltrated, and then they will take and bend your group into whatever political agenda they seem fit. I mean, I can name off a half dozen groups where that's happened to. So it's groups tend to do that. Unfortunately, they start out well and then they get taken over. So that's why I'm a pure anarchist.
Would you say like the market economy here in New Orleans, like with all the tourism and stuff, commodification? Would you comment on that? Like how? Oh
yeah, I call us the home of the alcoholic Peter Pans. If there's anything, this is sort of like an adult Disneyland for the Illuminati. This is where they have to keep some facade up that, you know, things are normal, even though that there's nothing in this town that's normal. But you don't find this in any other city. I mean, you can go around and it just doesn't exist. But here you have some kind of sensibility that we can all get along.
And do you like that?
Oh yeah, I think it's. I mean, yeah, I'm here, so yeah. I mean, this is. Could I get away with this in San Francisco? Most likely not. Could I get away with it in New York? Or maybe for 5 minutes. You know, Chicago, definitely not. Austin, no. So, you know, this is one of the few liberal cities that I could probably get away with this because, again, the people here are probably too drunk to do anything, you know, to organize or do anything else about it. And beyond just another nut on the streets out here.
Finally, can I take like a video portraiture of your facial expression for a minute? So I'm gonna hold the camera really close to your face. It's gonna feel really weird, but just for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
So how many other people have you interviewed around here?
I've only interviewed one anarchist. He's had a few interviews with like random people.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've interviewed around 6-7 people. Yeah.
Where'd you start doing this? How many days you do?
I started over at the Jackson Square.
So just today you've been doing this?
No, I've started like.
We've been here since Saturday.
Since Saturday?
Well, it's not like a semi-research trip and semi just touring around the city. So.
Interesting. So is this something that a project you're working on, or is it, you know?
Well, we each have our individual projects.
Yeah, it's like 7 students and 4 professors, and we all came here together, and we each have our own like ideas, but we'll go out in groups and film what we want and talk to who we want.
And what are your views now of our current political situation and what's going on? What do you think of? How do you view what the, you know, overall in general? If you have any specifics, what do you think?
Well, as a non-American, I would say I just don't trust any, either in America or in China. That's part of the reason I'm here, because I don't like the politics in China. But after being here, I feel like I'm more of a patriot than before. Actually, before I left China, somehow, just because I am a minority here, and I do experience some of the disadvantages of being a minority, but I do also experience some of the awesome aspects of America. So, for example, freedom of speech. I wouldn't be saying this in China. So, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So there are. I mean, of all, even though we have our problems here in this country, it's still probably one of the, if not the best country to go ahead and be able to express things.
Yeah. So I would say there's good and bad sides of anything. So, for example, in China, we have a single-party system. So things can get done quicker. Like if the government wants to do something, they can do it. But then they don't consider like what's the drawbacks of some policy and stuff like that. For example, like the economy is growing so quick, and there comes like environmental problems, smog in Beijing, and stuff like that. And whereas if you're in America, like probably goes through process. Nothing is probably gonna get done. But
now I find it interesting because, you know, from my observations and studies, the people of China, of course, have, for generations, for long periods of time, have grown up mostly under authoritarian regimes of someone. So they have a mindset they're following. You know, there's not very many free thinkers, I don't believe, you know, although the IQs are the highest around. I mean,
IQ is IQ, but
no, but it helps, you know, to have some level of intelligence. But at the same aspect, again, there is that level of cultural repression, I guess I would call it. Being afraid to speak out because it's just from the culture that you've come from.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the trend. But I do think, if, like just daily life in China, people say stuff about the government all the time. But they just, they just don't go out and publish it. They don't protest. They don't do that kind of thing. But like on a personal level, we say stuff about the government or about the policies every single second, I would say. And it's just different.
And on contrast, in Greece, it might just be flipped just the opposite, because the people there have always been rather independent and, fighting for individuals' freedom. But recently, though, over the past decade, I guess, Greece has been going through a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, Greece is because of the economy right now. People are a lot angry about all sorts of things. But I think even I'm grateful I'm here in America and obviously so many opportunities. What's missing is the solidarity that Greece has. So there when people fight, the anarchist movement, I have my family members that went to jail, right, because of your involvement, but they don't feel bad about it because you're not alone. People will rally for you and help you get out.
Right.
Here, I feel if I went to jail for graffiti or something, I'd be left alone. And people wouldn't rally up the same way as they do in Greece for strangers.
I think that might have a lot to do with the fact, because one, we are a large country, and two, we have so many different ethnic groups here. It's kind of hard to keep a cohesive kind of a.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Tommy Robinson?
Tommy Robinson?
From the UK.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, you might want to check up on this guy, because he is an international phenom right now, who was speaking. He does pretty much what I do out on the street. He started speaking out about the impact of the sudden influx of immigration into the UK. He started out talking about what's happening in his neighborhood, what was happening in his city, and the country as a whole. But because he was speaking from the street and talking, bypassing the filters of the news, the BBC and what the government was trying to hide, they started coming down on him very hard. And matter of fact, he's going through a trial right now where they're trying to put him back in prison. But it was about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. He was speaking in front of a courthouse about a Muslim grooming child prostitution ring. And the police just came along, said, "Tommy, come with us." Put him in the back of the van, and in a matter of hours, he was thrown in jail for 13 months. Well, there was such an uproar worldwide about this that, they were forced to let him out after a month and a half. But as I said, now they got him back in trial. So he's another guy that I think you might be interested in, because you are political. It is part of your genre to look at and see where he's coming from in that. But, in that aspect.
That could be interesting.
Oh, So, I mean, good luck with this. It sounds like an extremely... I would like to see the end result of this study. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, if I wanted to see the end result, it would be published.
Can we email you?
Oh, yeah. I would be very interested in seeing that. Here's a get-out-of-jail-free card from Hillary Clinton. And on the back of it, you have my email, and you can see this interview, of course, on my YouTube channel.
So are you going to vote in the election?
I think it's important to participate, even though, a lot of it is sort of like this. It's kind of like but you still, because here's the deal, the powers that be don't want us to be involved. They would rather us not voting. They'd rather us sitting at home. So, I mean, if all of us really stood up, because really again, as I mentioned, it's a small, it's always a small percentage of people change the course of history, dedicated people. If a large percentage just stood up, the powers that be would have no chance at all. So I think it's important to always participate, even in the facades that they give us, because we can take them over in that facades. Because we can take over the control if we just participate in enough numbers. We can do it. And that's one of the things I'm out here to get people to, get involved. Don't think you're powerless. Get out. There's always something you could do. If you can't get out on the street like you guys are doing to make a difference, or like I'm doing out of the difference, or, run for office, or if you can't do any of those things, then support the people that are. Support your groups. You know, the group that you're involved in. You know, it's what the groups you might be involved in. In that little way, you can help. So I think it's always important, even if it's just voting, but it's probably the least thing you can do.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure talking to you guys. I feel like, I learned something. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Nice day.
Well, I told you that was a weird one. So I'm not, anyway, they could probably use it at my, at my trial, or when they go to throw me in the nut house, they can go ahead and use this one. Say, hey, this guy obviously needs to be put away. So you know how it goes. Hey guys, I do have some more videos coming. Hopefully make more sense than this one. See you on the street.